Welcome back, everybody. We got this dirty Honda GC160 engine right here, which is in some pretty rough shape. It came off of a generator which the dynamo exploded on. I did have it running once before on this channel, but it didn't run very well. So we're going to take it apart today, give it a tune-up with a kit provided by the HIPA Store to see if we can get this thing running much better than it is. And the future plan is to stick this either on a mini bike or a go-kart. Not certain just what yet, but we're going to do something. Right, buddy? Right, buddy? I see you there. Anyway, who is the HIPA Store, you're probably saying? Well,
the HIPA Store is a company that sells quality new parts for outdoor power equipment, such as mowers, chainsaws, generators, and even some parts for go-karts. We're well into the grass cutting season here in Florida, but how's your mower doing? Don't throw it away because it quit or it won't start. The HIPA Store has what you need. Get a tune-up kit like the one you see in this video at the links down in the video description, because when you support the HIPA Store, you also support the creation of my new videos. Special thanks again to the HIPA Store for sponsoring this video.
a little bit of cheap oven cleaner from the dollar store ought to do the job to get that greasy, caked on gunk off of this engine. So we'll let it sit about 10 minutes, and then we'll wipe it down, and then give it a good hose off, and I should get it. You know it's working when the foam starts to lift off all the gunk. It starts to change color like that. It's actually lifting it out. You know, it's doing a pretty good job. Probably even better if I sit in the sun. I think this likes warmer temperatures. But I'm sitting in the shade because Duckman doesn't like to get sunburned. Yeah, I see you, buddy. I know you're there. Shut up! Unbelievable. Nobody wants to hear you on the video, and I don't want to hear you either. Be quiet. Dumbass. That's the baby. He don't know to be quiet yet. Everybody else is pretty good nowadays, but he's the little one. Now you let it sit just a minute. And I'm starting to get the chills here because it looks like a winter snowstorm hit it. That's what the stuff's supposed to do. Foam, foam. And it's doing exactly that. Alright, we'll let it sit a little longer. Alright, come on, babies. Got something for you guys. And you guys watching are going to hate me for this one. We'll come back to it in a little while once they discover it. Yeah, it looks like Biddy's already discovered it. Go ahead, Biddy. It's your cousin. Enjoy. Here they come. Go ahead, go get it. That oven cleaner crap did a mighty fine job, didn't it? I mean, it's a little gunky down there still. Probably one more coat of it and let it sit another 15 minutes would do a good job. But all I did was hose it off with the, well, hose. I didn't even sponge it or wipe it or nothing. Had I have gotten in here with maybe a paintbrush or something, I probably could loosen it up more. But what's important is the parts that we're going to work on are clean. And I mean clean. Look at this. Before, I couldn't have done that if I wanted to. Everything under here was all black. It was just filthy. You can actually see the carburetor now. Well, what do we have from the HIPA Store? We have this kit here the HIPA Store sent me, which includes a spark plug. Looks like we got an air cleaner. There's your pre-air cleaner. Here's your carburetor. We got a gasket kit. Looks like we got a fuel filter that goes in the gas tank. Got more bubble wrap. Got a fuel switch. We got a piece of fuel line. And some other gaskets that go on here. And that's what we've got. This should be a complete kit. I may not need all of it to get this thing going. For certain, we're going to go with the carburetor and the spark plug. We'll replace the gaskets and the air cleaner. And we're hoping this is the right kit, because we don't know for sure. Well, the air cleaner does look correct. This is actually a GC160 engine. And this kit is for a GCV. Yeah, GCV or GVC 160 engine. So far, looking at the air cleaner here, it looks like that's correct. Yeah, it fits in there. Okay, well that's good. Well, here's our carburetor, so we're going to take that out. Looks like it's held in by two 10mm bolts, and looks like the fuel tank comes off with two 10mm, so that should be able to pull that off. Looks like we have a pulse pump here. It actually does have a fuel pump. How about that, guys? And then around this side, they've got a little throttle linkage up inside of there. Our choke linkage. Okay. Seems pretty straightforward. Let's start pulling some things off of here. Alright, well, here we go. Got my trusty impact, the one that strips the bolts, Duckman. Let's see if we can strip them while loosening them this time. there's at least one more. Yep, there it is. Holding this together. Here's the tank. Whoa, long ones. There we are. This should separate the air cleaner from the carburetor and release the carburetor all at the same time. It did. Look at that. Now, let me show you a better angle. There's our carburetor right here. I should have grabbed a set of needle-nose pliers from inside before I came out here today. It's a whole lot easier to take these linkages apart with them. Still got it though. There's our carburetor. Looks like our choke linkage is kind of hanging it up, as well as the pulse pump, which is going into the fuel inlet. Alright, what's going to be the best way to get that apart? Because that is wonky. Oh, rubber grommet gogi. Rubber grommet gogi, that's what it is. A rubber gogi. Come right on out of there. Alright, let's see how close of a match that is. This is the old gasket, which is now garbage. Throw that away. To the new carburetor. Well, it looks like that's it. It's a little different, but the linkages appear to be in the right spots. Our inlets and outlets appear to be correct. This should come off of here. Looks like it's glued on there. Yeah, that looks like a near perfect match. That should go on there without too big of a problem. Alright, well, let's do exactly that. Let's get it on there. Looks like I have to scrape off some of this old gasket here, which is in crappy shape. I'll get a razor blade and cut that off of there. There's also a piece here that's on the cylinder head. I need to clean that up too. Once that's cleaned up, then I should be able to put this all back together. Just make sure I have this oriented correctly, that I don't put this back together backwards when I try to do this. Yeah, it looks like it goes on like that. This goes in here like that. Okay. And just for verification purposes, let's just see which gaskets were included in here, and if they're the same ones. Because again, this was a kit for a different engine that may or may not be the right one. Well, there's our big square gasket for the intake, just like that. Good. There's our gaskets for this plate. One there, and one for the other side. Fantastic. And then this one should go on the air cleaner on the back side. Looks like we have a match. So all four of them are going to work out just fine. Okay, excellent. Let me get a razor, we'll clean this sucker up. Actually, you know what? Hang on. Is it going to come off? Maybe it will. Uh-oh. Cheeky just got humped over there. Poor girl. I try to stop them from doing that because she keeps getting hurt. Well, she didn't screech that time, so as long as she's not screeching, she's alright. And she's eating a chicken in the yard. She found a reward. Alright, well, good. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take these bolts and we're going to put them through the air cleaner, just like this. And we're going to assemble all these parts on the air cleaner itself, and then slap the whole thing on there as one solid assembly. Did I get that right? Yeah, it looks right. Nice carburetor. Looks like the HIPA logo is now officially molded into them, or cast into them. Check that out. These are really nice quality looking pieces. The HIPA Store doesn't sell junky, guys. I've been very satisfied with everything I've had from them. And they're not paying me to say that. I mean, they do pay for my advertisements, but if the product was crap, I wouldn't use it. And I'm going to stand behind their stuff. These carburetors have been really, really good. Okay, we got that. This plate then goes on here like this, if I'm not mistaken. And then this goes on here like that. And then what have we got? This one? Let's see, how does this get oriented? I think it gets oriented like that. And this piece goes on here. Well, I had it right the first time. That's it. And now this, whoops, should get threaded right into the cylinder head. hopefully I don't have too much of a problem reaching that linkage. I may have said that earlier, but I was certainly thinking it. Get these bolts started on here. There we go. Now we have a little bit of play in there in case I need to move something around. Alright, I need to put that choke linkage back on for one thing. Trying to remember how it was so situated on here. This is not an engine that I typically work on. Usually I work on the GX series, you know, like the Predator engines. Alright. I pulled it all back apart again because I had a closer look at it and realized that this bracket, which contains the choke pull tang, that's where it goes into just like that, wasn't installed. I forgot to put it in a little sandwich of all those parts. So this one's going to go on here just like so. Here's our choke. Yep. So it looks like that is going to go into that linkage right on here. So it goes in here like that. Actually, it might be going up and over like this because, yep, that looks like it. There we go. Now we have a choke lever. Alright, and the throttle, the other piece that's still on the old carburetor. But before I put this back together, I want to see if I can get this on there because clearancing issues and my big fingers. I tell you what, these hands, great for crushing things, terrible for working on delicate little components like this. I accidentally bent this. Well, you know what, did I bend that? Before I straighten it, let's just verify that this all goes back together like it should. Okay, this is going to go on here. This linkage goes between the little governor and the throttle bell crank. So, you know what, I think I can put that on there now and then sandwich everything together afterwards. I might have to because I don't think there's any way I can get my hands inside of this thing to work on it any other way. Well, here's what we're going to do. We are going to put this gasket on here. We are going to attempt to put the air cleaner on the back. It goes on here just like that. I'm already getting a little frustrated with this. Alright, let's try this again here. This has to hook around this way. There's like only one right way to do this because there's so many little pieces and components that just get in the way of everything else. And if you put one thing in the wrong order, it ain't going together. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm getting into here. Drop this down a little more. There you go. Why won't the bolt holes line up? What's weird is they look like they do, but they don't. There it goes. There it goes. Okay. Now I've got to put that gasket in here. This is terrible. I am hugely a do-it-myselfer. This is thankfully something that you wouldn't have to take apart very often. I have a friend of mine that is not very mechanically sound, that can't handle this kind of stuff. I know this would not be a job for him because it takes him all day just to remove a carburetor and then all day to put it back together again. Looks like that worked out. Here's our fuel inlet. Goes on there just like that. Our choke is now operational. Now we can put this stuff back together here. Whoops. Alright. Then the plate goes on. The other plate goes on. And you have the round to square adapter. This goes on here. This is the one that got me before. Nope, I think it goes the other way. Yep, that's the way it goes. Bolts are just slightly offset in it. Just slightly. Alright, now I can get this on here. This has to go behind the governor shaft lever. That got it. That got it. Let me show you what we got here. Okay, that was very, very fussy. This is not as easy as the GX engines to work on. All that stuff had to be sandwiched together. I mean, there was a lot of components. You saw there was what, about 4 gaskets. There's a plate, there's an adapter, the carburetor. There's another plate in between here. You got the air cleaner itself. You got a couple bolts, and all that had to go together in the right order. And then things had to be swung around and, you know, dingled and dangled and just, yeah, to be made to work. Kind of a pain in the ass. But it's now in place, and it should be good to go. I do have to put that linkage on the top here, which I believe I can get to with my fingers, and if I cannot, this will be something that needle nose pliers should be able to get. And I'm going to do all that before I tighten up these bolts that go into the carburetor here, because that's what's going to pull everything together. And all this clearance that's in here that I have to put those things together, it's going to disappear because this gap will close up. Alright, well, that's where we're at. Let's get that linkage in there. And I thought I bent it when I took it apart. Yeah, it looks like I bent that. I don't think that was the way it would have come factory. No, it looks like it would have been straight. So we'll fix that, and we'll put that together, and then we'll get to working on the spark plug and stuff next, put the air cleaner all together. Well, we're probably getting close to getting this started up. I was definitely the one that bent that shaft. As this thing is so soft, I'm actually quite surprised it doesn't take much effort at all to bend it. Okay, well, it's ready to go on. Let's see. How does it need to be oriented? This plate goes this way, that plate goes that way, so it's probably going to go on just like that. There is a spring that needs to go on there as well. This spring is what holds it on, and it looks like the spring's a little stretched out, but that's nothing that I can't fix again with the pair of needle nose pliers. That was from me. When I pulled it apart, I pulled too hard and I stretched the spring out. It'll be alright though. No worries. No worries. I probably should have, when I put this on here, got the thing started in its location. Yeah, I definitely need some needle nose pliers to get in there. That's not easy to do. Alright, be right back. Alright, don't know how well you can see that, but we easily got that linkage in there with a pair of needle nose pliers. I got the spring back on. We're good to go in that department. So now what we need to do is we need to just snug up these bolts and hope that nothing gets pinched in the process, that everything tightens down like it's supposed to. Uh-oh, they're chasing Cheeky. Okay, I gotta go murder a that's not a duck. Oh, you were picking the little boy right there. That little boy, who's no longer little, was after my princess, Cheeky, and the 2 other roos were protecting her. I actually saw her jump up in the air over everybody and then flew away. But they're not getting stirred up. But him, he's learning how to hump. Dude, I understand what it was like. You know, I was once 13 years old also. Yeah, I know. And that's what you want to do, is you want to stick it in anything you see. I can relate, buddy. I love you too, but, you know, you got to be nice to the girls, you do. Daddy will take you on a few lessons and teach you how to hit on women. You're doing it the wrong way. You can't pull their tails. No, they don't like that. Alright, this is the old fuel filter. It came out of the fuel line. Kind of interesting. Real simple design. Here's the new one. Gonna go in there just like that. And then I put this clip back on. Come on, you. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll use the fuel tank to push the filter in the rest of the way. A little nozzle inlet here. Goes on there just like that. And that should, and did, push right in there just like that. Good. Alright. Tank should go back on here just like this. There's a stud down below here, so we'll catch the bottom stud first. got all my parts over here in a Volkswagen hubcap. This is the tray I usually use for holding on to parts when I work on like carburetors and stuff. You guys have seen me use it in other videos before. Actually has a bunch of carburetor parts in it right now, so out of the question, can't be used. Okay, down below here, got this extra big ass washer. One nut. Alright, that should put that all back together. Then we have our air cleaner stuff. This is our pre-filter. This is what keeps the expensive filter from getting dirty. Kind of sounds odd to not want to get your filter dirty, but that's the way it goes. Let's see. This one, if I'm not mistaken, goes in here. Just like this. That goes in there like that. It should go in here. Yep. So all that GCV parts so far are fitting. Alright, here's our spark plug. Hope I grabbed the right socket for this. You're about to find out. I did. Alright. Rocking and rolling. Here's our old spark plug. Looks brownish gray. That's a good sign. Of course, that was with the old setup. It was running not too long ago. Actually, I guess it was about a year ago. But it's been sitting... Wow, the gap on these are exactly the same. Okay. Good. What's our numbers on here? BPR6CV and BPR6ES. They both look like they have the same heat range on them. So just different brands. This one being the HIPA brand, and this one is an NGK. So let's wind the HIPA one in there. You know what I probably should have done? Is I probably should have dripped a little fuel down the cylinder before I put this in there, because we're getting ready to start it in just a second here. If this thing has spark and it has a little bit of fuel in it, it should fire, which then will get the pulse pump pushing, so that any fuel that's in the tank will then go to the carburetor, and then it should start up. Otherwise, we'll probably just keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling on the rope forever until finally it primes the system up. So I think if I just dumped a little fuel down in that spark plug hole, it might give it a little jump, if you will, a little boost. Okay, I do want to check the oil. I have no idea what shape this thing is in, not since the last time I tried to start it, which, as I said, was about a year ago. Well, it's definitely got oil, but I'm going to need something to wipe that with, so I did say paper towel, but my roll of paper towels in the back of the square back, or fastback right now, and fastback is out front. That's currently locked down. So it'll be easier just to grab a rag, which was just out of reach here, so I grabbed it anyway. Threading this sucker in. See how much oil we got in here. It's a little bit low, but it should be enough to get it started. I'm going to go grab a little bit and pour some in there. I mean, I don't need much. I mean, it'll be like a couple cups of oil is all it needs, and this thing doesn't hold very much anyway. I mean, you might use, what, a 0.9 quarts of oil anyway in this thing. Alright, otherwise, this engine did not use a fuel switch at all, so the fuel switch that came with the GC160 kit is not necessary. So if you do need one of those, scratch it off your list. If you do need one of those on your GC engine, well, you got it, but chances are, looking at the way this one's set up, you don't. So fuel filter can go in the spare parts bin. Alright, we didn't replace the fuel line either. We didn't need that. We got a new air filter on there. This thing should be good to go. Little oil, little gas. And then we'll give this thing a pull. Oil in there. Just use some leftover 30 weight from Volkswagen stuff. Wasn't very much in there, but it was just enough to bring us up to almost the line, which is enough. Alright, throw some gas in here. There we go. Not going to put too much in case I have to take it all apart again. I cracked my nozzle here the other day, right there in the middle, which kind of aggravates me because these are the good nozzles that didn't have all that government, protection garbage on it. One of the good ones that just works. They just pour. I hate those other ones. I have a ton of the other ones, but I broke that one. Maybe I can plastic weld it. Guess I can play with that this week. Just developed a crack and it just pissed me off when it happened. I was so mad. Alright, we're going to put a little bit down the spark plug hole, and when I say a little bit, I really mean just a little bit. There we go, just a little trickle. Take this gas can and get it out the way. Aim that exhaust away from me. Got to put our spark plug back in. I may need to prime it again, so I'm not even going to tighten the spark plug down with a wrench. We're just going to snug it. Cap on. Pull our choke out. Is that working properly? My finger's stuck. Alright, flip that on. Exhaust is away from us. I got a fan down here trying to keep me cool. Guess I should move that. It's going to blow the exhaust up onto me. Bummer is, pull start doesn't go this way, it goes this way. Alright, well, we'll just make that work. We are flipped on. It goes nothing. Oh! That's a Honda for you. Ooh, and this ripcord is starting to get mighty frayed. Yeah, this ripcord's about ready to disintegrate. I wonder if I'll even get it to start with this thing in the shape that it's in. Alright, I guess I'm going to have to fix this before I go any further. What a bunch of ass. Probably needs more gas in it now. Should have poured a little bit down the intake too. Yeah, we'll do it now. There we go. Just a little bit. Whoa, way too much. I just flooded the ever-loving dog shit out of this thing. That was definitely an accident. Let me turn that choke off because it's choked. See if I can pour some of that out. Wow, that was a lot. Alright, that'll probably get it. I'm going to leave the air cleaner off for the second too. I hope it doesn't backfire because it might spray. Here we go. There it goes. Alright. We know it runs. Go ahead and stick this cover back on here. Hopefully that fuel pump has tried to prime the system. It might have a little bit. There we go. Hey, I need to change a rope on this thing. Wonder if the HIPA Store keeps these recoils in stock. They might. I don't know if a metal one, because these are plastic, like the GX series will work on here. Seems like a lot of the parts on these GC series engines are plastic versus the GX series, which is mostly metal. Alright, here we go again. Alright, I'm getting mad at this thing now. Alright, let's see if I can put a new rope on it. Hope I have a rope for it. We're about to see. Alright, there it is. It's got a security bit, Torx bit in the middle. It's probably not meant to be taken apart, but I'm the duck man, and I'm going to take it apart if I want to take it apart. Alright. So we'll get inside of that, see if we can fix that. Without even taking this thing apart, I just pulled it out as far as it would go, cut the old one off. I found a rope on another mower that was here in the yard, ran through the hole, tied a knot in it, released, and coiled it right up. It's fun that it's a Honda, but it says Briggs & Stratton on the pull handle. Here's the old stuff, so this can get heaved. Get it out of the way so the chickens don't try to eat it. Yes, chickens eat rope. I don't know why. Mine haven't, to be honest with you. Mine don't eat rope or string, probably because I keep them so well fed that they don't mess with, you know, trash around the yard. They're pretty good about shredding things, though, like tearing my tarps apart. And as you know, those blue tarps tend to turn into all them blue fibrous messes all over the place, but they don't seem to eat them, which is good. Alright, that should get us together on here. Now, where's my 10mm socket? There it is. Not lost for a change. How about that? Down there. 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 Alright. Oh, that feels so much better already. It even tried to start already. Hoping that the fuel pump gets primed up, which I did pour gas in it, but did I put enough? I mean, hey, that should be more than enough. That's half a tank. Don't know if this choke is cooperating though. Let's see if that does it. Nope, didn't seem to. Alright, well, let's juice it. Put a little more down the hatch. This time we'll try not to flood it out like we did the last time. There he goes. Just a squirt, sir. Alright, we're switched on. Here we go. So much for easy to start Honda, huh, guys? I wonder if the pump gave out. Maybe it did. Yeah, maybe our pump gave out. That was too much again. Way too much. But you know what? It's sitting in the bottom of the air cleaner and not in the inlet. Let's see what happens. Well, I think I should pull off the fuel line and see if we're getting any gas. Nothing. I don't know if I can blow past a diaphragm pump, but maybe I could try. Yep, I did. That primed it. Got fuel line back on. Alright. I should have put some gas up in the carb then. Might start now. Maybe. A little bit. Might need some carburetor adjustments, but It runs. Yeah, it runs. It might need some carburetor adjustments a little bit. Remember, this is a generator, so it's supposed to run pretty much at 1 speed all the time. It'll speed up a little bit when it's under load, but this one, hey, you know what? I see there was a problem over here. This vacuum line wasn't on all the way. So that, of course, wasn't sucking. If it doesn't suck, the pulse pump doesn't blow, and then you get no fuel. Anyway, that was definitely part of our problem. Alright, prime it back up. Ooh, now it's got gas on it. God. Woo! That's stronger than any of my whiskey drinks. Woo-hoo-hoo! Alright, try that again. That's actually much better. Alright, we got us a running engine. How about that? Quiet, that's for sure. The tools on the table rumbling were making more noise than the engine was. That'll make a mighty fine mini bike. Alright, well, let's shut her down. Folks at the HIPA Store are going to be happy that we got this engine up and running again. Alright, well, good to go. I'm going to see what I've got to mount this engine in. Probably got something around the yard, some kind of a go-kart or mini bike or something. I want to make use of this thing. It's a 5 horsepower engine, plenty enough for a mini bike. It does have the generator outlet though, which is a tapered shaft, but there's an adapter for that, so I could bring this out to a keyed shaft. So I'll get one of those, and of course we can mount our regular clutch on it or torque converter and figure out how we're going to mount the engine from there. Otherwise, this whole bracket that this engine is on will come off because this is just for the generator, so you can haul it around. But it's a runner, that's for sure. And because it's a Honda, I bet you it's going to start easy from here on out. There it is. Alright. Well, that's it once again. Special thanks to the HIPA Store on this one. Appreciate your parts always. You guys just do some of the greatest things. So check out the HIPA Store from the links down below in the video description. And if you'd like to know more about my stuff, you can also look down below in the video description and check out duckshit.net for all my different social media links. So licky, likey, comment, and subscribe. You guys know the drill. We appreciate you. And we'll be back hopefully in the future, probably next week, with another Volkswagen video. But before we go away completely, let's go see what them chickens did to the chicken that we put in the yard. I can see they're running around it right now, so they've been busy. All right, over here is our raffle go-kart. This is for the Volkswagen show. We got currently an active raffle going on. People are currently buying tickets to it. I'm trying to get this thing built up in the next few weeks, hopefully. By the time you've seen this video, I've already cut into the frame on it, I'm sure. But the rear end of this body, you see it's kind of curved. It's square in the back, but it's got curved sides. When I drop the body over this chassis, it gets caught on these corners. So I need to either bring these curves way in here somewhere or cut these off entirely and just run them straight into here. I don't think I need to cut the rear end off. I think it's plenty long. I think the problem that we're having is right there. So I think if I get that straight, I should be able to fit the body on here. Then I need to worry about the wheelbase, because the wheelbase of this thing, this is an adult go-kart. It's a little too long for this body. So we'll get that straightened out. But otherwise, this engine platform that's on here, where this engine mounts, there's enough room for a bigger engine. And if you've watched my videos, I would say probably in the last few weeks, you would have seen, and I don't know what order I'm releasing them in, but we bought a brand new engine for this thing. It's even bigger than that one. So we'll be working on this engine to get it running. Then we're going to clean it up, pickle it, put it on a shelf, because it'll be probably for our raffle next year. But our raffle this October is going to have an even bigger engine than what's on here now. Otherwise, over here is the chicken carcass. Looks like they pulled it out of the bowl and threw it down. They did a pretty good job cleaning it up. It's covered in flies, but don't worry, they eat the flies too. Now, before I hit the record button on it, the ducks were actually picking at this thing, so they're very happy to be eating it. And as long as they're happy, you know, what can I say to them? Oh, here he comes. Well, she, I should say. You're going to get the carcass? Come eat it. Come on, go ahead. I'll get out of the way. Go eat it. Go ahead. Go eat it. It's yummy. Go get the yum-yum. Go ahead. Go get the yum-yum. Go get it. Go get it. There we go. Actually, snap some flies. Flies might be tastier than the carcasses. By the end of the day, by the time it gets dark, that thing will be picked clean. And I won't even pick the carcass up, and in the morning, of course, it won't be there. A cat or something in the night will drag the rest of it off. But it might be a bad thing because the local wildlife will get a taste for chicken. Although it is seasoned rotisserie chicken, and cooked, I mean, not as opposed to these little raw birds over here. That's a solar eclipse baby. Look at him now. He's as big as his father and his grandfather. And he has some beautiful feathers on him. And he's managed to keep them that way. Even though he fights and he gets picked on, he's fast. So he's managed to keep his feathers. Alright, you guys hanging out over here. I saw you run under there. There's the new mama bird, which is actually Mama Bird's granddaughter. She's the only one here that's a mother. That rooster I just showed you is actually her kid. And there's Papa Bird over there. That's the father. So between the two of them, they made that baby. Over here, little Fluffy. Hey, little Fluffy. I see a girl hanging out in there. And I don't know where Cheeky is. Cheeky keeps disappearing. She's driving me nuts when she does that. Actually, I see her. She's way over there. There she is. I see you, Cheeky. She doesn't get along with the rest of the birds. She thinks she's a person. So she doesn't usually hang out with the birds very much. She tends to run around and stay close to me, or even run back inside for the air conditioner, because it's been hot out here, guys. It's been close to 100 most of the week. I think tomorrow we're finally going to get a break in temperatures, but coming along with that is rain. I got to get some things picked up, moved around here. I want to recycle some of this stuff that's over here. I want to cut down some of this brush. Actually, I cut down a ton of it already. It was growing all the way out to here. But all these little ones are starting to grow up now in between them. So I got to pick this up. Put all the scrap metal together that I'm not using and probably won't ever use. I've been saving it. I tend to save metal. I want to recycle it because it comes to use for building things like go-karts. But anyway, I'm carrying on a little long. I guess we're going to wrap up the video. We got this thing too, by the way. About to throw the engine in. I got all the last parts that I needed to get it finished up. So the engine's going in, and after that I have to finish up the wiring. We're missing some wiring harness components, particularly the little harnesses that go to the taillights, the ones that go to the headlights, the gauge cluster wiring, and there's no fuse block. I don't know why I wasn't supplied with any of that stuff. I guess it got lost along the way. There's been a couple of owners since, and, well, anyway. This car hopefully will be done in the next few weeks. I got to get it running and driving, and it should be in the show this October. At least that's what the owner plans. Not the prettiest of all cars, but I mean, hey, it's just like the rest of the Volkswagens that were out on the road. They don't need to be in great shape, just need to be functional. And this one has no rust. So, yeah. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you next time. Alright. Well, in case you're curious, yes, it did rain out here. That's all that's left of that chicken carcass. They've dragged it around the yard. At one point it was way over there. Another point it was way over here. I actually kicked it back into play closer to the dish. They've been just pushing it around all day, but I figured you guys would be curious. There's still some meat left picking, but I think they're going to be done for tonight because it's about time for them to go in because it's going to get dark soon. Isn't it, guys? Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.